In Taurus is a very, very potent and powerful new moon, and I'm really excited to share with you the ceremony today and our live guided meditation so that we can all plant the seeds properly to create this next cycle, however you would prefer, and see this kind of thing happening, because I feel like we can be the conscious co-creators of our life. Leave a comment if you agree, if you are the conscious co-creator of your life. And if you feel like your life has been a little harder lately to consciously co-create, we'll just say, then we're going to be talking about that a little bit today too. I feel like when I found out there was 6 planets in Taurus, I started to consider, what does that mean for me as a specifically individually, and then what does that mean for you, and what does that mean for us all collectively? And what I noticed is that for myself, because I have Chiron and Taurus, it's like anything that needs healing in the house that it's in, which for me is the 4th house, it's very prominent right now, like a lot of focus energy on that right now. And we can talk a little bit about, if you know your astrology chart, if you know what house you have Taurus, we can talk a little bit about that. So leave a comment if you know what house you have Taurus, and I will let you know. I can kind of do a little bit of like a mini reading. I've been into astrology for many, many years. And one of the things that I've learned from this really interesting science, and I would say it's like somewhere between science and not mythology, but there's this element of spirituality that combines to be able to understand like what it's all about. And some people don't believe in it. I remember for years, very, very many years, I didn't believe in astrology. And I thought, well, how does it even make any sense? But I started to realize some of the wisest, most like reputable and genius people throughout history really depended on astrology in order to understand life better. So as I started to look deeper into it, I started to realize, okay, so if there's a science that can help me to understand life better, let me look into this. And then I started to look at, how does this relate to my situation that I have right now in my life? No matter where you are in life, there's always something going on that could be, leveled up, we'll say. So when we look at life, like, okay, what is life teaching me? And how can I utilize every resource that I have in order to grow? That's when we become the conscious creators of our reality. And even if you're in a very difficult time, or maybe you're in one of those other times, like celebratory time, whatever your situation, that my favorite saying is, it's like part of the most ancient wisdom from the Vedic tradition, which is, if everything is going really well for you, remember, this too shall pass. And if everything is going very difficult, remember, this too shall pass. So we always just know that there's an impermanence to life. And as we recognize the impermanence of life and we tune into that, that's when we can create more flow, because we realize, instead of being at victim of life, we can create whatever we want with the situation. So currently, let's say I'm at my sister's house. She just had a baby. Her baby turned 1. And it's so cute. So I spent like a lot of this week helping to prepare for the baby's birthday. But it was really a good experience. I love my family. And also, like, you get a really deep glimpse into what it's like to have a family when you live with somebody who has a baby, and you help a lot with what they're doing. So anyway, I feel like it taught me a lot. And anytime that you are learning, you're growing, right? So learning is correlation to growing. That's kind of how I see life. And we're here to grow. It's literally like our number one like purpose of life is growing. And so as long as we're growing, learning, and evolving, then we're really right on track. Right? So it's just if we're feeling stagnant, or if life feels like it's not there's no growth, that's usually when people get depressed. Or the other thing that makes a lot of people feel depressed is if you like working too much. So if you're so tired because you're pushing yourself to the maximum, then you're really out of balance, right? So instead of being, like not doing anything, like that's one side of extremism. And then the other side is doing too much all the time. And so there's like a middle way in between those that is like the sweet spot. And that's what I'm always feeling called to do, is like be in the middle way, teach about the middle way. That was Buddha's path, the middle way. And so the flow state, it's that middle way in the sense like, not, you have to do something, but you can't just rely on this extreme level of doing in order to get to your result. There's this beautiful dance between the doing and the surrender. So it's like action and let go. And it's also, so they say it's where discipline meets surrender. That's flow. And if you think about in life, like, where am I holding on too tight? Like, where am I pushing? Where am I trying too hard? Right. And so, like, those are the different questions you can ask yourself in order to see, okay, like, how can I get into a better flow in this area? Right. And so we're always in that, like, kind of constant ebb and self-guided self-coaching. I call this self-coaching. It's like where you're looking at your life and you're observing what's going on and you're adjusting accordingly every step of the way. And also just reading the energy of response of what's going on in the universe. So if the response of the universe is saying affirmative, you can usually tell, it's very obvious, right? So the affirmative response of the universe is like, everything is a yes, like all the people around you are supporting the thing that you're moving towards. There's abundance coming in from that direction. There's people, energetic movement in that direction. So that's one way to determine if something's a yes for you. Another way, which I love to teach, because this is something that helps me and also that I've been using my whole life, which is to ask your higher self, like, if you have a decision to make, and life is just all about decisions, literally, like your entire life is a compilation of all your decisions that brought you to this moment. So the very next decision that you make or that we make is going to determine the trajectory of the entire rest of our life, if you think about it, right? So if you make one, it's like kind of Alice in Wonderland, red pill or the Matrix, red pill, blue pill, which way do you want to go, right? So in Alice in Wonderland, that she asked the Cheshire Cat, like, which way should I go? And the cat said, well, where do you want to go? And then she's like, I don't really know. And then he said, well, then it doesn't really matter. So if you don't have the intention of where you want to go, then it doesn't actually matter what choice you make. But if you know, like if you have a long-term vision, or if you have a general intention of the energy of your purpose of life and what you came here for and what you're doing here, then that is what I call the North Star. That is your guiding light that can lead you to the next step and to make the decisions that you should make that can lead you to your best life. So one of the guiding systems that I love to do is to ask, we're going to do it together. I'm going to ask your higher self a question, and we're going to get the answer for a decision that you need to make. So let's do it. You can just sit comfortably with the spine straight, and then take a few deep breaths into your heart, into your belly. You can exhale out of your mouth. I always like to do a few breaths because it just calms and clears your energy. One more. Okay, now think of something that you're trying to decide, whatever it is. You're trying to decide, and then you have to come up with a yes/no question. So the yes/no question needs to be like, for example, if I do this, is it in the highest and best for the good of all involved? That's my favorite way of asking. There's different ways of doing it. This is a really nice way. Is it going to result in the highest and best for all involved? Okay, so just asking any question, right? So let's say you're thinking of moving somewhere. Like I just moved to LA. So I moved from Miami to LA. And so you ask this question: if I move to LA, is it going to result in the highest and best good for all involved? You could even add different words in that. Like it could be like prosperity, highest and best, growth and opportunities, highest and best miracles and blessings, like whatever. But you kind of can keep it as general as possible so that it's a little bit more neutral. You start adding flowery words like miracles and blessings, it could convolute the energy. So you just want to go with like as simple question as possible. Okay, so here we are. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And every time you take these deep breaths, you are clearing your nervous system. So it's not just like, oh, I'm taking a deep breath. Think about that. You're doing this for an intention. So it's like if you've been asking a few questions, because you can do a couple questions back to back. But if you've been asking a few questions, each time in between, do the breath cleanse, just like 2 to 3, breathing deep into your heart, into your belly, and exhaling out of the mouth so that you clear your nervous system and like reset, right? Because you're going to have to tap in to the inner feeling. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So take a deep breath. Exhale. 2 more. 1 more. Okay, so ask the question, and it's your personal question, not mine. If I do this, if I make this decision, is it going to result in the highest and best good of all involved? Okay, now here's what you do. After you ask the question, you have to tune into how you feel in your heart and in your mind and also in your gut. But we're going to talk mostly about the heart first. So the feeling in the heart, if it's a yes, is really open and expansive. It feels like a yes. It feels like fuck yes. It feels like open, expansive, loving, flowing energy. And in your mind, that energy rises up into your mind, and your mind also feels really open and expansive. And also, you can feel in your heart or in your gut like a settled energy, right? Now, if it's a no, here's the thing. So here's the important thing that you want to tune into this. So if it's a no, the heart will contract and the gut and the mind will also feel dense and heavy. So it'll feel like I'm tired all of a sudden and like the heart does not feel expansive. So leave a comment. Let me know if you are feeling, if you did feel it, like if you got a feeling, because that's usually the first step, like is to just feel, like if you can sort of get in tune with how you feel, because sometimes people don't even know how they feel. So it's like, okay, like if it's new to you to tap into your feelings, then this is a practice to start to help you to do that. But if it's, let's say that's not new to you, but maybe what's new to you is just asking these questions, then, you can go right into it full force with all your questions. So there's different levels of people depending on what you've been up to, in your life. But I feel this practice has been truly beneficial for me and for everybody that I've ever taught it to, because in the end of the day, like I said, every decision that we make is leading us to the next decision. So the other way that you can work with this is actually do that first question. You got the answer, but then you can ask it in a new way and you can ask a different question back to back. So in between the questions and you're trying to, get this like final answer, I like to do at least 3 questions, because you're like, well, what if it was, just feeling good today and that's why my heart is open. You kind of want to like try 3 questions back to back so that you can really feel like, okay, the clear decision is there for me. Okay, so in between, we're going to do a little energy cleanse again. So we're going to deep breath in and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, now ask again. So your next question, different question. And this next question can be related though. So let's say you're like, okay, that first question was, oh, should I do this? Now the second question is related to it, but different. Asking yourself, okay, if I do this, and then fill in the blank. I'm giving you like a script if you want to use this script. If I do this thing, so fill in the blank for yourself, will it help me to achieve the goals that I have set? And then you can list a few of those if you want. Let's say my goal to create greater impact, manifest greater abundance, and make the world a better place. Just like whatever your intentions are, you can list them. And so if I do this thing, is it going to result in those intentions manifesting for the highest and best good of all, right? So you want to add that part at the end. That one I always add. But the middle question, you can kind of tweak it a little bit so you can get more specific. So ask the question, take a deep breath, and then ask it in your mind or out loud. If I make this decision, and it has to be a yes, no. Another one, because it doesn't have to be a decision. So we're going to do the last one where it's not about a decision, but it's actually about a situation. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're dealing with a situation and maybe it's frustrating you because you're like, this is not how life should be, right? And like you're looking at it. I'll give you an example. My Facebook page had been hacked and it was really annoying, because I mean, for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is just because I had to deal with all these things. It was very stressful. So anyway, in dealing with all those things, I had a lot of interesting things happen as well. One of the things that happened was whoever had hacked the page posted like 200, a bunch of videos that went really viral and they reached like 400 million views on my page. So I was looking at that like, wow, that's interesting. Instead of seeing it like, this is a nightmare, instead, I was like, how can I learn from this, right? 400 million views. This person got on my page. Literally, I hadn't got 400 million video views in my entire life combined. And this person did it in 6 weeks. I was like, okay, can I hire you? No, no, but it was very interesting. So I am interested to find somebody that can help me in this because they got the hacker out of my account. But anyway, so I looked at that because I should get compensated for these like hundreds of millions of video views. But because a lot of my fans who were trying to help me reported the posts because they were trying to get me to get my page back. Then my page got a lot of strikes against it. Then it became restricted, and then they took away the monetization. And it was like this whole spiral where everything was out of control. And so anyway, I've been in communication with Facebook and working on getting the monetization for these views, right? Because it's like, okay, I had this huge thing. It was like months and months of stress. And then, I got the page back. I had like 400 million views on my videos. I should be compensated for at least 130 million of those because they were like specifically, monetizable. And anyway, so I've been in communications with Facebook about that to get the monetization, to be paid for that. And I've been back and forth. But the point is, so I was looking at it like, okay, how can I learn from this? Like, where is the blessing in this, And so asking a question about that, for example, like, here's a good question we could do. Like, is the purpose of why my Facebook page was hacked and we got hundreds of millions of video views was to teach me how to grow my reach on social media, right? So you could ask a question like that. That's a yes, no question. Or you could ask a question a little bit different, which would be like, will Facebook get back to me and tell me that I'm going to be paid for the 138 million 1-minute video views? Right. So really specific, one question. The other one's a little more general. Like, was it for the best of my growth, or am I going to be paid for that? I like the specific questions because it's like kind of interesting to really tap in to see like, what does the energy feel? I don't know if it's always 100% accurate, but I find it to be pretty accurate. So let's try it. Use your own question though. This is just my example, but like use a question that's relevant for yourself. And my situation was quite unique, but I learned a lot from that. And actually, if you want, leave a comment. Let me know if you'd like me to make a video about that situation, because I was thinking about sharing about it more, because it does seem like the kind of thing that people could benefit from, that situation that I experienced. I feel like everybody really wants, if you're on social media, you really do want to tap into this like kind of wisdom of knowing like, how do I reach more people, or how do I make videos go viral? And it's interesting because I had videos go viral over the years, but I never made it into a viral like lifestyle where I'm just doing viral videos every day. And I know people who do that, and they just made their whole career about viral videos. And I was like, well, that's interesting. It actually is smart, because then all of a sudden you're like getting millions of people aware of whatever you're doing every day. So then that's an idea, like you could use that as a marketing strategy. So I'm considering it. But so anyway, for now, you got your own question. We're going to tap into that. So take a deep breath. Two more. One more. Okay. Now ask the question and tune into your heart, your mind, and your gut. These are your three brains. I call it triple brain guidance system. Okay, so if you tune into the question, you ask yourself a question, yes, no, and the answer was no. One way that I really kind of determine about the no answers is, does it feel like nothing happened? Or it could also feel really like closed. But if it feels just neutral, it could also mean the answer is TBD, to be determined. You know, energetically, there's no clear energy that would indicate one way or the other. So sometimes I feel that is the answer, where I'm like asking a question and then the answer is not clear because it didn't go super expansive and it didn't feel super like closed either, just felt neutral. So if it goes like that, that's when you know that TBD, which means that, okay, keep asking and or just move forward with life. It will reveal the truth. That's the other. But leave a comment if you did this, and also if you felt a clear yes or no on any of your questions. That's for me the interesting thing, because I find that for my whole life, I had a little bit of a challenge to know which direction to go. And sometimes I would make the wrong decisions. So in this little practice that you can do, which is somewhat of a meditation, I find that it's very helpful and powerful in order to always check in with your inner guidance system with everything, so that you're not making weird decisions and then regretting them later. That's what I did a lot in this life. I would just like, yeah, I'm just going to do this thing. And then a year later, or like even a month later, I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? Or maybe you got the intuition not to do something and you went ahead and did it. Like these are the little moments in life where we have to really check in with ourselves and say, okay, like I am the one who makes these decisions. I have to become better at decision making. And especially when it comes to like important, like big choices, like where it's like your whole life is going to shift as a result of this. So hopefully that's helpful for you and use it daily. And we're going to do our little meditation now. So because it was the new moon, we want to really tune into the energy of what it is, what intentions are you setting for this next cycle? When I say a cycle, what it really means is like until the next moon. So there's a full moon and the new moon. And so every full moon is 2 weeks apart, right? So when you're in the new moon, you're planting seeds for what you're creating in your life and the energy that you want to attract and have around you. So that's the energy of the new moon. And then in the full moon, it's should be a little bit of like celebrating, like how did it unfold for you? Even if just some of the things that you were manifesting or calling in happened, celebrate that, because it's in the gratitude and the celebration of life that you're going to notice energy is very like magnetized to this like celebratory energy. So the people that I know that are the most successful, they're kind of always in a celebratory energy. They're like, just celebrating life, grateful every day, smiling and happy. Even if life is knocking them down, they're like, it's going to work out, positive optimism lifestyle, right? This is a key element to really creating a beautiful life, because there's always going to be challenges. Every day never goes away. Never. So instead of hoping life becomes easier, let's pray that we become stronger and more enlightened. For sure. So take a deep breath. Exhale, release any stress. Allow the energy to flow through you, feel the vibration. Deep breath into your belly. Exhale out of your mouth. Ujjayi breathing all the way to your heart. Exhale out of the mouth. Really sitting with your intention for a moment. We're going to go into a meditation. Beautiful flow. Thank you for sharing. We're going to go into a meditation now that is predominantly centered on the intention that you set. So this is the way that I like to do it. So there's different ways of manifesting, right? So you want to create this sort of relationship to the intention. So in order, if you want, you can visualize, but also at the same time feeling how is it going to feel in your life. What does that look like that it's manifested? So start to, if you can, if you're able to see, like with a visualizing. Good morning. Thank you for joining, guys. If you can visualize this life, whatever it is, situation that you're calling in, that you're in that scene in your mind, right? And let's say the scene is whatever, you have your new house. This is something I'm creating in my reality, I'm calling in a retreat center, like a spa retreat center that I want to create. And here in LA, in California, and something that I've always dreamed of doing, and I'm manifesting it. So vision yourself in the scene in your mind, whatever it is, the vision of that, of you being in the scene of this situation, whatever it is. And what are you wearing in that vision? What are you listening to? What's the music? What does it smell like? Do you have incense or aromatherapy in the house? Are you cooking something in the kitchen? Do you have people helping you? Is there a chef, or is it you doing the cooking? Are there other people there? Do you have a sort of team around you? Or is it just you? Do you have a partner with you? Is there people there every day? Do you have, it's like a sort of open door environment where people can come every day? Or is it the type of thing where it's just a couple days a week? Do you do large events or just smaller situations, one-on-one? Do you have a spa? Like I envision a spa where there's like a few rooms where people can experience Ayurvedic treatments and biohacking and cleansing and all the things that I teach in the Flow State Institute. And I envision doing large events with some of my friends that are in the local LA community and worldwide, and that they can lead different events, workshops, ceremonies, classes, everything at this beautiful space. And I envision it being a center for the community to come together for healing, for growth, for expansion, for co-creation and networking, for meeting other like-minded souls and really feeling connected to the source of life and the greater good of all through our intentions, our co-creations. I also see a beautiful room and space where I can record my podcast and launch my podcast. And I see a lot of beautiful things. I see a big grassy garden in the back where Mia Moore can run around. And I see her having a friend, a little puppy to play with. And I see me with my king, my soulmate, co-creating this beautiful life together. And I see everybody feeling so healed and whole and nourished and supported by the energy of the space, of the sacred space, and of the energy that we share there. And I see myself not being burned out or stressed from managing it all. And so just visualize yourself, right? Paint the picture of your best case scenario in your mind, like see yourself. And then what does it feel like? Do you feel just like in a feeling of deep gratitude, peace, satisfaction, and fulfillment? You feel trust that it's always working out in your best and highest good for all? Do you feel supported by the universe and by your community and the people close to you? You feel abundance flowing in your life for yourself and all those around you? All of these, this is the energy, right? So you want to step into the scene in your mind. What does it feel like when you wake up in the morning? What do you do first thing in the morning? Give thanks to God for this beautiful day. Thankful. I get up, I play with my puppy, I meditate. I have my elixirs in the morning, health elixirs. I have a beautiful, beautiful morning routine and do my yoga in the morning so that every day I'm starting out with the best possible clean, clear energy flow, magnetically attracting all the good that I deserve and desire for the highest and best good of all. So just painting that picture, that's what visualization meditation is about. It's like you see the energy that you want to call in and be that energy. So then when we come out of the meditation and you're feeling it still, you feel like you're still there, or you're feeling it and you're like, okay, so what I really want to do is carry this vibration throughout my whole day, and also in the morning tomorrow, and in the morning every day, and feeling that I'm already living that vision, that it's already now, instead of like, oh, one day when that happens. Instead, it's like, all right, this is already here. Now it's just a matter of the universe orchestrating the little details in the physical reality around me so that it can be physically manifested. But in my consciousness, in the existence of the universe, it's already done. It's already manifested. And what I call quantum leaping is where you step into it. Like, let's say in your mind right now, it feels like it's like a year away or 10, whatever, however long away. So in the mind, you go like, yes, instead of it being a year away, it's now. And the energy of it is now in me, in my heart, in my soul, in my frequency. I'm living as if it's already the reality. And so instead of a year, maybe it's going to happen in the next month, maybe 2 months, or however long, but that it's going to happen, and the universe is going to orchestrate all of the details necessary in order for it to actually manifest in physical form. So that's up to us. So that's the part that's super pivotal, right? This is like the mastery of manifestation. It's like, okay, can you be that vibration already? And when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm already there. And you're doing life as if you're already there. And then all of a sudden, it's happening. And also, when you do your meditation and you ask these questions, you could even ask questions like, okay, what must I do today specifically in order to move that closer to manifesting, or in order to manifest that dream into reality, whatever that dream is for you? Different for everybody, but just asking, and then holding that deep intention. So the intention is really the pivotal key component. So the intention is, I want this, not for my own like selfish benefit or something, or like, obviously it's good that you have personal desires, but that it's actually to create a healing environment, or to create beautiful energy for others, that you are born, like that you are on this planet for that reason. So it is the intention to fulfill your highest potential, your intention to fulfill the energy that God has for you in your life, the energy of why you were born in the first place. Like, that is the deepest kind of intention, where it's like, okay, this life came into this body so that I could serve the world in my unique way. And this is you speaking for yourself in your unique way. And therefore, whatever dream that you have, whatever vision you have for this life, must manifest, because it's the soul's desires that are just the clarity of like some combination of your purpose, your destiny, and your highest potential, all combining into this energy of a desire, right? And I've heard this so many times, people talking about the energy of your desires. Like, because some people in the spiritual tradition will say like desire, like let go of your desires. What they mean is to have a non-attachment to it. We can't be like cling to the desire, like I want this thing. But instead, you have this desire, but you're kind of like, there's a distance between you and the desire. It's like, okay, if it doesn't happen in this way, I'll be fine, because what I'll know is that whatever does happen is for the highest and best good of all, because that's always in the prayer, right? That's why I add that in. But when we say highest and best good of all, what if what manifests is something tragic, right? Okay, so usually something really difficult, when it manifests, it's the universe redirecting our energy, right? So if we're like going down one path, we think that's the way, then all of a sudden the universe is like, puts a big stop on it. And let's say you lose a bunch of money, or like you lose these friends or whatever, like whatever happens, it's literally the universe saying that is not the resonant direction for your soul's highest and best good. Cut it, and you got to retune in and find the better alignment. And so that's when we get into things happening that are beyond our control, or like things like painfully happening in our relationships or in our career or in life in general. When I look at life, I just look at like, what is this teaching me? Instead of like, why is this happening? It's like, what is this teaching me? Right. And if once you learn the actual deep lesson of something, you'll transcend that lesson. It's like video game. Like once you beat the level, you get to the next level, and then all of a sudden, boop, and then you're like in the new level. That's what happens in life. Once you beat this level, you're like, okay, you go to the next level. Anyway, we're going to be wrapping it up. Hopefully this has been beneficial for you guys. Leave a comment, let me know. Be sure to go to the Facebook group if you don't already know about it. It's a wonderful place to tune in together, everybody, and connect with the community over there. We have a lot of beautiful souls over there. And also I go live on there too sometimes. So I go live on the Facebook group. I go live here on YouTube. I go live everywhere. It's kind of interesting. I try to figure out like what's the best place. But for me, it's just, I'm testing different platforms. I'm in the process of like reorganizing my strategy around social media. So recently I got like 200,000 new fans on Facebook and different things happening. So I'm like, okay, I want to reorganize my approach, but I'm going to be going live on Facebook more often as well. So tune in over there. And in the group, we have almost 7,000 people in the flow state group. And if you just go to my fan page, Dashima, and it's the groups, you'll see it's one of the groups. We also have another group called yoga, and we have like 5,000 people in that group. But that one is interesting because it's a lot of Spanish people. So if you speak Spanish, it's a really good place to network. But otherwise, the other Facebook group, the flow state group, is a better place because everybody there speaks English. But anyway, if you have anything that you got going on, you're always welcome to share about it in our group. If it's relevant, of course, about yoga, meditation, or flow state, something related to flow state, definitely feel free to post it in the group, because that's a great place. The other place that we have that we connect is on in the app. That's another option. So both of those are really good. We have like, I think, over 1,000 people in the app, but we have 7,000 people in the group. So these are opportunities that I've created for you to network. You can connect to other like-minded souls that I've created and really like consider what you want to do for your own journey of, social media and or of leveling up. I love you. Many blessings, and I'll see you again soon. Namaste.